Samuel Tait, you are charged in an indictment containing one count of arson contrary to Section 1, subsections 1 and 2 of the Criminal Damage Act 1971. The particulars of this offence being that you, on the 14th of October 1983, without lawful excuse, damaged by fire part of the premises of Fulchester Comprehensive School belonging to Fulchester Borough Council, intending to damage such property or being reckless as to whether such property would be damaged. How say you, Samuel Tait? Are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Samuel Tait is 17 years old. The Defence Counsel wishes to challenge the admissibility of a signed statement made by Tait on the day of the fire.
My lord, my learned friend has been kind enough to inform me that he wishes to seek a ruling on a particular point of law.
Oh?
I have no objection myself, my lord.
Oh, very well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's going to be necessary for you all to retire while we discuss a point of law.
The case you're about to see is fictional. The procedure, however, is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public.
Well, Mr. Hurst?
My lord, on the afternoon of the fire, Tait was taken to Fulchester Police Station, where he signed a statement admitting that he'd started the fire deliberately.
Yes, I've read it. It seems a perfectly straightforward statement to me. Do we really have to go into all this?
I think it's important, my lord.
And was Tait taken directly to the police station?
Yes, sir.
Now, Detective Sergeant Stafford, was there anything at all unusual about the interview on the afternoon of the 14th of October 1983?
No, sir.
So, to summarise, you say the defendant's statement was made entirely freely, without provocation, and without inducement or inducements being offered?
Yes, sir.
So, how long had you been interviewing Mr. Tait before, as you claim, he admitted to the offence?
It was at 6:03 that he started making his verbal statement.
Yes, and you'd started your interview at about 3:15.
Yes, sir.
So the defendant was denying the offence for about 3 hours.
A little less than 3 hours, yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes. During this time, was the defendant offered anything to eat or drink?
Oh, really, Mr. Fox, I hope you're not going to suggest that the defendant was starved into submission.
Not exactly, my lord.
Well, what then?
May I continue, my lord?
Very well.
Detective Sergeant Stafford, was the defendant offered anything to eat or drink?
We probably gave him a cup of tea at some stage.
And can't you be more precise?
It's not the sort of thing I normally make a note about, sir.
Go on. Was the defendant offered a meat pie?
A meat pie, sir?
Yes.
Not as I recall, no, sir.
Did you at any time that afternoon send out for meat pies?
I don't think so.
Did you keep a supply of meat pies at the station?
No, sir.
Do you ever send out for meat pies whilst on duty?
It's not unknown, sir.
And where do these meat pies come from?
Well, there's a shop just down the road that sells them.
Well, I put it to you that not only did you deprive Mr. Tait of reasonable sustenance, but you actually taunted him by eating and drinking in his presence.
This is a most ridiculous line of questioning, Mr. Fox.
Well, I'm sorry, my lord, but I think you'll see what I'm getting at when Mr. Tait is called later.
I hope you're right.
And what happened to you after you were taken to the police station?
They took me to this room.
Yes, and then?
They kept on asking me questions. They said I'd done it.
Let's be quite clear about this. When you say they, who exactly do you mean?
Sergeant Stafford and the other police officer.
Detective Sergeant Stafford.
Yes, sir.
And they said that you'd lit the fire.
I hadn't done it. I told them.
But later on you said you did do it. And you signed a statement saying that you were guilty.
I was stupid. They made me do it.
What do you mean?
They kept me there for hours. They were asking me questions all the time. I got into a muddle. I wanted to phone my mum to tell her where I was, but they wouldn't let me. I knew she'd be worried about me, sir.
But didn't they take you home to your mother afterwards?
Yes, sir.
Well, that was very kind of them, wasn't it? Wasn't it? How far is it from the police station to your house?
About half a mile, sir.
Well, they could have made you walk home. But they took you home in a car, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Well, I should say that was very kind of them. Mr. Fox, have you made your point yet, or is there more?
I've nearly finished, my lord.
Well, get on with it.
Yes, now you were telling us how worried you were about your mother.
Oh, come along, Mr. Fox, we've heard all this.
Why did you suddenly decide to admit your guilt?
They kept saying that they knew it was me and that everything would be all right if I admitted it. I'd be able to phone my mum. I'd get a fair trial. Then they got tea and something to eat for themselves. And there they were eating. They said I could have some if I admitted it.
What were they eating?
Meat pies.
Oh, those pies again.
Are you quite sure they were eating meat pies?
Yeah, they smelt lovely. They were still warm. They said there was one for me if I said I'd done it. I was confused. I was worried about my mum, and I was hungry. They tricked me into it. I never did the fire, sir. I'm innocent. Everyone knows I never done it.
Not everyone, Mr. Tait.
This is your signature at the foot of the statement.
Yeah,
Did the police officer read it to you before you signed it?
yeah.
And did you understand that in this statement you admitted openly and freely that you and you alone set fire to Fulchester Comprehensive School that very afternoon?
I understood what it said, but it wasn't true.
I've listened with great patience to all this nonsense. I have no doubt that there was no meat pie offered and therefore no inducement. I have no hesitation in ruling that the statement can be used in evidence. Now, Mr. Fox, do you want some time to discuss the plea of not guilty with the defendant?
That won't be necessary, thank you, my lord.
Very well. Get the jury back. I suppose we'd better get on with this.
You are an assistant divisional officer with the Fulchester Fire Brigade.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Stanley, will you show members of the jury on this ground plan of the school where the fire took place?
Yes, sir. Well, as you can see, the school is divided into 4 house areas: Canute, Alfred, Boadicea, and Elizabeth. The previous headmaster was something of a history man, sir. Now, the fire occurred here in King Alfred House cloakroom.
And how many cloakrooms are there in Alfred House?
2, sir. 1 for boys, 1 for girls.
And in which cloakroom was the fire?
The fire started in the boys' cloakroom. I think it's possible that a pile of paper towels and clothing was ignited in the corner here, though it's difficult to be precise.
Now, is there any possibility that the fire was started by accident? I mean, for example, by an electrical fault?
No, sir. I think it's extremely unlikely that the fire was caused by an electrical fault. The wiring in the area of the fire was examined most carefully, and there's nothing to suggest that any electrical failure or fault could be the prime cause of the fire.
So how did the fire start?
Well, as I was saying, I'm as sure as I can be that the fire started here in the boys' cloakroom. We found the remains of a pile of anoraks and children's clothing in the corner just here. Now, the fire spread to the ceiling of the cloakroom, and then the fumes from the burning ceiling tiles and the foam-filled seats of the benches spread to form a dense and lethal smoke which spread throughout the King Alfred House area.
And what time did the fire start?
Our report states that the school fire alarm sounded at 12 minutes past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, in view of the smoke produced by such a fire and the number of people passing through the area during the school day, I should say that the alarm sounded very soon after the fire took hold.
Yes, but it would have been possible, wouldn't it, for this pile of coats and clothing that you've told us about to have been smouldering gently for quite a while without a lot of smoke being produced?
Yes, sir, that would be possible.
Yes, so to estimate a precise time at which this fire was lit, if indeed it was lit, would be very difficult.
Well, my information is, sir, that the afternoon roll call is at 1:45 p.m, and that up until that time, any number of people are around in the cloakrooms who'd be certain to notice even a small blaze or a...
No. Please, could you answer my question? Can you give us a precise time, within a minute or two, either way, at which this fire was started?
No, sir, not within a minute or two's tolerance.
Then between what extremes of time was the fire started?
Well, now then I should say not before 20 minutes to 2 and not after 10 minutes past 2.
Yes, so the fire might have started at any time between 22 and 10 past 2.
Yes, sir.
A period of half an hour.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Stanley.
Yes, how long have you been deputy headmaster at Fulchester Comprehensive School?
Nearly 10 years now.
And how long have you known the defendant?
Since he was 11, since he came to Fulchester Comprehensive as a first year.
Yes. Now, Mr. Stevens, I'd like you to tell the court what happened to you on the afternoon of the 14th of October, 1983.
Well, now, after the bell rang for the afternoon roll call, I left the staff common room and went to my study along the headmaster's corridor. I was working there on some papers when the alarm bell sounded.
Yes, what time did the fire alarm sound?
It was at 2:15.
And what did you do then?
Well, there is a standard procedure for fire alarms. I left the building by the nearest exit and walked round to the playground area to oversee the efficient evacuation of the school.
Yes, what exactly happens when the fire alarm sounds during school hours?
Teachers lead their classes in single file out of the building by the nearest available exit. The class then goes to its allotted place in the playground area, and form teachers check the names of the pupils against the list of pupils present at the most recent roll call.
Yes, how long does it take to clear the building?
Almost all the staff and pupils are out of the building within 3 minutes.
Almost all?
Well, there are always some pupils who are out of class for one reason or another, carrying messages, which we try to discourage, going to the toilet. Sometimes there's confusion about which lesson a particular pupil ought to be attending. Timetabling is extremely complicated at a large school.
Yes, yes, quite. Now, how often do you have fire practices at your school?
There is an official fire practice at the very start of each term, but for one reason or another, the fire alarm seems to sound at other times as well.
Could you explain to the jury what you mean?
There are glass-fronted fire alarms all over the school. It's very easy for a pupil to break the glass and disrupt the school for no proper reason.
A false alarm?
Yes.
And how often are these false alarms at your school?
Well, sometimes we go for weeks without any trouble. Then we get a plague of them. It becomes a fashion. I've known as many as 6 false alarms in a single day.
6?
That was exceptional. But it's not uncommon for the alarm to go off 2 or 3 times a day.
But does that mean that all 2,000 pupils and staff go trailing out into the playground every time there's a false alarm?
I'm sorry to say it does. You don't know whether an alarm is false or not when the thing goes off. You can't take risks with people's lives.
No, of course not. Now, let us return to the fire on the 14th of October. Now, how many false alarms had there been during the term in which the fire that concerns us took place?
And there had been considerable disruption. In the week leading up to Friday the 14th of October, there had been 7 false alarms.
7 false alarms in a week? And had the person or persons responsible been caught?
Unfortunately not.
And had the fire brigade been called to the school on each occasion?
They did turn out on the first 2 occasions. This involved sending out 2 fire engines and alerting various ancillary services.
But their journeys were entirely futile?
Yes, dangerous waste of time and money. The fire engines might have been needed at a real fire.
Indeed, they might. But it was not a false alarm on the 14th of October.
No, sir.
Now, were the fire brigade and police in swift attendance?
Yes, commendably swift.
Would you tell the court what led to the arrest of the defendant, Tait?
If I may correct you, Tait wasn't actually arrested at the school. He was merely taken to Fulchester Police Station on suspicion. He was taken away for questioning.
Yes, now, Mr. Stevens, Sam Tait was old enough to leave school at the end of the summer term of 1983, was he not?
He was.
So why do you think he chose to stay on at school when he could have left?
I really don't know. I did my best to persuade him to leave.
You did your best to persuade him to leave?
My lord, my learned friend is following an entirely irrelevant line of questioning.
You may be right, Mr. Hurst, but at this stage I'm inclined to let Mr. Fox continue.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Mr. Stevens, how did you try to persuade Sam Tait to leave school?
Well, I mean, not exactly trying to persuade him to leave school, but pointing out to him that there was no point in him returning to school in the autumn term.
No point in attending school? What do you mean by that?
If he returned to school, we would have to find room for him in the lower 6th form. The lower 6th is academically orientated. Some pupils are starting their A-level courses, others are finishing O-levels or resitting O-levels. Sam Tait fits into none of these categories at all. If he decided to come back, we would have to construct a special timetable for him, using up staff in a most unproductive manner at a time when our resources are stretched to breaking point.
Nevertheless, Sam Tait has an absolute right to continue at school if he so wishes.
Yes.
Yes, and you, I mean, your school, the school where Sam Tait's been a regular attender since he was a small boy, has a statutory obligation to support his right to continue at school if he so wishes.
That's right.
Yes.
In theory, at least.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stevens. Now, could you tell us, please, how many deputy headships are there at Fulchester Comprehensive School?
4.
4? Good heavens, what do they all do?
We all work extremely hard.
Yes, I've no doubt, but doing what?
One is responsible for timetabling, one for the curriculum, one for evening classes, and I'm responsible for pastoral care.
Pastoral care. What's pastoral care?
I'm responsible for the welfare of the students. I have to act the good shepherd.
But didn't the Good Shepherd rejoice when one lost sheep was brought back to the safety of the fold?
Precisely, sir.
Yes, Mr. Stevens, who administers corporal punishment at your school?
I do.
And how often do you have to beat boys, Mr. Stevens?
Only as often as is necessary.
Well, how often's that?
There are occasions when it is imperative to show a firm hand.
Have you ever beaten the defendant?
Yes?
How often?
Well, I can't remember exactly. All punishments are recorded in the punishment book.
Well, have you beaten Mr. Tait on more than one occasion?
I expect so. All boys seem to get punished at some time or other in their school career.
Really? There are nearly 2,000 students at your school, Mr. Stevens. You must lead a very active life.
Get on with it, Mr. Fox.
Now, when an alarm sounds, you've told us that all staff and students proceed to their assembly points.
Yes.
So there must be nearly 2,000 students and staff milling around the car parks and the playgrounds outside the school building.
That's right.
Well, doesn't this lead to considerable chaos?
Well, there is organised chaos. It's surprising how good the pupils are at this. They get too much practice, in my view.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be all that surprising, would it? Especially at the beginning of the school year, if some of the students had a little difficulty finding their form teachers.
Yeah, well, quite a few stray, but we soon round them up.
Ah, quite a few stray, do they?
Well, obviously, some do.
So there'll be quite a number of students turning up a little late to meet with their form teachers.
Yes, there will be some.
Yes, but on the day of the fire in question, you singled out one particular latecomer for special attention.
I wouldn't say I singled out one particular person.
What would you say then?
I picked out one person.
And who was the person you picked out?
Tait.
The defendant?
Yes.
Yes, why? Why did you pick out Samuel Tait?
As a senior pupil, he should have known where to go. I thought it would serve as an example to the younger pupils if they saw me putting a senior pupil in his place.
But wasn't it possible that Mr. Tait had a perfectly good reason for being a little later than the others?
He had been at school long enough to know that a fire alarm is a maximum priority event.
But he might have been helping to evacuate a junior. He might have been assisting a form teacher. He might have had a perfectly good reason for being late.
Not very likely, in my judgment.
I see. Well, how many others were late at the assembly points? You've told us there were a few. How many is a few?
Well, out of 2,000, there are bound to be 30 or 40. It's difficult to be precise.
But out of all these students, you picked out Mr. Tait.
Yes.
Well, to make an example of him.
In the first instance, yes.
So you picked out Samuel Tait to make an example of him?
In the first instance, yes.
Well, you certainly succeeded, Mr. Stevens.
There was smoke pouring out of Alfred House. There was a very dangerous situation. I'm quite prepared to be tough when the lives of my staff and pupils are at stake.
And you also had on your mind a whole series of false alarms.
Precisely.
And you thought it was worth making an example of someone.
For being late at his assembly point.
Well, I put it to you that you saw a wonderful opportunity of finding a scapegoat for all the bother you'd been put to.
Not a scapegoat.
I put it to you that you deliberately picked on Sam Tait because you didn't want him staying on at school and you wanted to make his life at school as difficult as possible.
No, sir.
Now, Mr. Stevens, where was Detective Sergeant Stafford standing when you were making an example of Sam Tait for the benefit of the younger pupils?
He was a few feet away.
So you were also humiliating Sam Tait in the presence of a police officer?
I wasn't humiliating Tait.
Oh, you were making an example of him?
Yes, you could put it that way.
No, sir, that's how you put it. You said you hoped it would serve as an example to the younger pupils. That is what you said.
I suppose so.
Thank you. And Detective Sergeant Stafford was on the scene very swiftly.
He was at the school when the alarm was raised.
Oh, why?
He was seeing me.
You mean he was in your office?
Yes.
But you've just told us you were working on some papers when the alarm sounded.
I was. Detective Sergeant Stafford was with me.
You were working together?
Yes.
Yes, and was this meeting you were having with Detective Sergeant Stafford in any way relevant to this case?
It's difficult to see how it could be relevant to this case, Mr. Fox, since the meeting took place before the fire even started.
It is necessary for a man in my position to liaise with the police from time to time.
I see. Well, let's return to the moment at the school playground when Sam Tait was handed over to the police.
I didn't hand him over to the police, as you put it.
What happened then?
Detective Sergeant Stafford said he wanted to ask him some questions. I'm not sure what happened after that. The fire brigade had arrived and there was a lot going on. I rather lost contact with Tait at that moment.
Nevertheless, after you had made an example of him, Sam Tait, a 17-year-old boy for whose pastoral care you're responsible, was led away by a police officer in front of the entire school.
The prosecution's next witness is Mr. Longman, one of the school's physical education teachers.
Now, Mr. Longman, we have heard that afternoon roll call is taken by form teachers at 1:45 p.m.
Correct.
Now, how long does it take for pupils to leave their respective form teachers and travel to their classes for the first lesson of the afternoon?
Well, the first lesson of the afternoon is supposed to start at 1:55 p.m.
5 minutes to 2 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Now, I imagine that during the minutes leading up to 5 minutes to 2 o'clock, there's considerable movement around the school corridors.
It is exceptionally busy. The corridors are really too narrow to cope with the traffic.
And are the cloakrooms busy at this time?
Very busy. Pupils arriving late, hanging up their coats, stuffing things into their lockers, visiting the lavatories.
So if a fire were to start, even a small fire, before 5 minutes to 2 o'clock, do you think it would be noticed?
It would be noticed at once, sir.
And what do you suppose would happen?
The fire alarm would be sounded immediately.
But on the day in question, the fire alarm sounded at 2:12 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Now, on that afternoon, what lesson were you taking?
It was a PE lesson for the lower sixth.
P.E.?
Physical education, my lord.
I see. Carry on.
And was Samuel Tait supposed to be attending that lesson?
Yes, sir.
Where do the pupils gather for that lesson?
There are changing rooms inside the gymnasium complex. I wait in the changing rooms for the boys to arrive from registration.
And they're arriving about 5 minutes to 2 o'clock.
Yes.
Now, did Tait arrive on time that day?
As far as I can recall, yes, sir.
As far as you can recall, is your memory rather hazy, Mr. Longman?
There are 26 boys in the class. It wouldn't be possible to remember the precise time at which each boy arrived.
No, of course not. But was Tait present that afternoon?
Yes, sir.
So did he arrive early or late?
I think he arrived at the same time as the other boys.
All right. Did he take part in your lesson?
No, sir.
Ah.
Tait failed to bring his physical education kit with him.
Ah, so Tait failed to bring his kit with him and he didn't take part in the lesson. What's the matter? Does the defendant dislike physical exercise or something?
No, I wouldn't say that exactly, sir.
Well, if he didn't bring his kit, he can't be all that keen, can he?
With respect, that doesn't follow, sir. Pupils don't necessarily turn up without kit deliberately.
Oh?
Well, sometimes there may be problems at home and there isn't any kit available to bring. Sometimes they genuinely forget what day it is. Sometimes they lose things in the cloakroom.
You mean things go missing?
Yes, sir, it's not unknown.
But the defendant has had his kit in the past.
Yes.
So there's no reason to suppose that he couldn't have had his kit with him this time if he'd wanted to.
Well, he may have left his things at home in error.
Or he may have contrived a situation where he knew he'd be left to his own devices.
Well, I think he genuinely forgot.
Nevertheless, the fact is that he wasn't with you and the other boys in the gymnasium that afternoon.
No, he was not with us.
So what did he do?
I don't know, sir. I took the boys into the gym at around 2 o'clock, 5 past, so I never saw Tait after that.
So you cannot account for Tait's whereabouts on the afternoon of the 14th of October after 2 o'clock?
5 past 2.
Or 5 past 2. So after 5 past 2, he could be up to any sort of mischief.
Oh, really, my lord?
Sit down, Mr. Fox.
The case of the Queen and Tait will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. The case you're about to see is fictional. The procedure, however, is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public. In the case of the Queen and Tait, in which Samuel Tait is charged with setting fire to Fulchester Comprehensive School, defence counsel is cross-examining Mr. Longman, one of the school's physical education teachers.
And how long have you been a teacher at Fulchester Comprehensive School?
Just over 7 years.
So how well do you know the boys of the lower sixth?
Most of them very well. I've known them since they were first years.
Well, is it usual for the defendant to turn up without his kit?
It happens from time to time. If it happens to a younger boy, I mean lower down the school, I'd probably have set him some work to do. When it happens to a senior boy, I generally send him off to the library or something like that.
Couldn't you have lent him some kit?
I could have done, but I wouldn't do that. We have very firm rules in our department. Once the lads enter our part of the school, our rules apply. That means you bring your kit or else.
I see. Oh. There you are at 1:55, waiting for your lads to turn up. And, In they come from all over the school in dribs and drabs.
No, not really. They all come together from the lower sixth form room. Pupils are not put into different sets for physical education classes, so they come together as a complete class.
Anyway, in they come. And then everybody's gossiping, it'll soon be the weekend, the atmosphere's light-hearted. Now, are you sure that 26 boys in this frame of mind can get changed in a mere 5 minutes?
Well, more like 10 minutes, I should think.
10 minutes? Oh, well, that's a big difference, Mr. Longman. Why does it take so long?
Well, I see a lot of those boys. Many of them are in the school football 11. Some are keen runners. We have plenty to talk about.
So, that means you don't move into the gymnasium until 2:05. At the earliest, could it even be later than 2:05?
A couple of minutes later, maybe.
Yes, and whilst you're in the changing room, Sam Tait is still with you.
Yes.
And while Sam Tait is still with you until maybe as late as 7 or 8 minutes past 2, he can't be over in Alfred House setting fire to a pile of paper towels and anoraks, can he?
That's comment, Mr. Fox.
I'm sorry, my lord. So, Sam Tait was with you until 8 minutes past 2.
I should think that's about right.
Now, how long would it take someone to walk from your changing room to the Alfred House cloakroom?
3 or 4 minutes.
3 or 4 minutes, as long as that.
I've never actually timed it, something like that.
Well then, what if someone not especially athletic, someone like the defendant, for instance, were to run flat out from your changing room to the Alfred House cloakroom? How long would that take him?
At that time of day, we're talking about just after 2:05. The pupils would still be on the move around the corridors. Anyone running flat out would be likely to knock someone flying. Also, we have strict rules about running in the corridors, and teachers would shout, "Stop running," or "Come here, boy," something like that.
I see. Well, despite that useful and very important information, how long would it take him, flat out?
Someone like Tait, minute and a half, if no one got in the way and he wasn't stopped.
And is there a quicker route around the outside of the building?
He's still got to get out of the building and then in again. I don't think even under ideal conditions he could do it in less than a minute. And someone like Tait would be completely knackered on arrival.
Knackered?
Completely out of breath, my lord.
Mr. Longman, are you quite sure that the defendant was with you until about 8 minutes past 2?
Yes, my lord. I remember seeing Tait sitting looking very sorry for himself as we went off into the gym. I told him to get away to the library fast.
May the witness be shown Exhibit 2, my lord?
Certainly, Mr. Hurst.
The final prosecution witness is Detective Sergeant Stafford, who's been asked to read out the statement that Samuel Tait signed at Fulchester Police Station on the afternoon of the
After dinner
fire.
time was over at 2 o'clock, my class was down for a gym period. I'd forgotten my kit, so Mr. Longman, the PE teacher, wouldn't allow me to take part and told me to go to the library. I didn't want to go to the library, so I went to Alfred House cloakroom, where I saw a pile of rubbish lying in one corner. I threw a lighted match into the pile of rubbish. It quickly caught fire. I was frightened and ran away. I didn't mean to cause so much damage. It was a silly thing to do. Signed, Sam Tait, 14th of October, 1983.
My lord, may copies of Exhibit 2 be distributed amongst members of the jury?
Certainly.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Detective Sergeant Stafford, would you describe briefly the events leading up to the defendant making that statement?
On the afternoon of the 14th of October, I was making a routine visit to Fulchester Comprehensive School to see the Deputy Headmaster, Mr. Stevens. The fire alarm sounded and the school buildings were evacuated accordingly. I was with Mr. Stevens in the playground area where the pupils congregate on these occasions. The defendant, Tait, was one of the pupils arriving late on the scene, and Mr. Stevens gave him a good ticking off. Tait wasn't giving satisfactory answers to a whole series of questions, and Mr. Stevens...
No, this is a most unsatisfactory answer, my lord. We can't have the officer's opinion without knowing what the answers were.
Can you remember the questions and answers?
No, my lord.
Aren't they in your notes?
No, my lord.
Then, members of the jury, please disregard the last part of the officer's statement.
Thank you, my lord.
What happened next?
Mr. Stevens asked me whether I should like to question Tait further. I said I would, so Tait was taken to Fulchester Police Station for further questioning.
And did questioning commence as soon as you arrived at the police station?
Yes, sir.
And was any other police officer present during the interview?
Police Constable Fellows was present throughout, sir.
And how long did this interview last?
Some time, sir.
How long?
A little less than 3 hours, sir.
Now, Detective Sergeant Stafford, why did you decide to take Sam Tait to the police station for questioning?
I think I've already answered that question, sir.
Tell us again.
When the deputy headmaster, Mr. Stevens, was asking Tait why he was late arriving at the assembly point, Tait's answers seemed unsatisfactory.
Is that all?
What do you mean, sir?
Well, look, there are 2,000 excited school children watching part of their school burn to the ground. The fire brigade's on its way, teachers are rushing around counting heads, some of them carrying fire extinguishers into a burning building. There are, as we've already heard from Mr. Stevens, quite a number of students arriving late in the playground for whatever reason. And who out of all these is singled out? Who's made an example of? Who's whisked off to Fulchester Police Station? Sam Tait. Why? Why?
I had reason to be suspicious of Tait.
So you knew Sam Tait before this incident?
I'd rather not answer that question, sir.
You'd rather not answer the question?
No, sir.
Why not?
It may not be in the best interests of your client, sir.
Well, I think you'd better let me be the judge of that.
Mr. Fox, you're treading on dangerous ground here. If you persist, there's a chance that evidence may be introduced to this case, contrary to the best interests of the defendant. Evidence that might not otherwise be heard by the court at this stage.
Yes, thank you, my lord, for that advice. I'm aware of the risk I'm taking, but I do wish to pursue the question.
Very well. Don't complain to me later that you weren't warned.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Detective Sergeant Stafford, did you know Sam Tait before this incident?
I knew of him.
Has he ever been to Fulchester Police Station before for questioning?
Not as far as I'm aware, sir.
Has Sam Tait ever been convicted of any offence?
No, sir.
Oh, well, that's good news. And yet you tell us that you knew of Sam Tait.
Yes, sir.
How? How did you know of Sam Tait?
From Mr. Stevens, sir.
Ah, Mr. Stevens, our deputy headmaster responsible for pastoral care. You were, in fact, visiting Mr. Stevens on the afternoon of the fire.
Yes, sir.
Why?
There had been a whole spate of minor fires and false alarms at the school, sir. This was seriously inconveniencing the fire brigade, the local police, and in addition was a serious threat to life and limb. As the officer responsible, I was, quite correctly, treating the situation with the utmost seriousness.
So what was your meeting with Mr. Stevens principally concerned with?
It was necessary to compile a list of suspects.
You mean a list of students at the school who might have been responsible for setting off the school fire alarm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, how did you do that?
We made lists of all pupils who had been in trouble with the police, pupils who had been in regular trouble with the school authorities, pupils who were poor attenders at school, that sort of thing. Then we did a cross-reference with various categories of possible suspects, arriving at a list of about 75 pupils.
And where did all this information come from?
From the school records.
You mean the school files?
Yes, I suppose that's what I mean, sir.
Mr. Stevens gave you complete and free access to the school files?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't read through 2,000 different files, surely?
No. Mr. Stevens was a great help there. For example, we could check through the school punishment book and from there go to a particular file and check its contents.
Are you aware that even parents don't have legal right of access to their own children's files?
I think I probably was aware of that, yes.
Well, it's a very vague answer. No, parents might be allowed to see academic records of their own children, but they don't necessarily have access to more sensitive material, such as social workers' reports, psychiatric reports, that sort of thing. Now then, what sort of thing were you allowed to see in this file?
Oh, details of achievements at school, or lack of them, information passed from one school to another, reports from teachers, and sometimes information provided by the social services.
And was there, in some instances, confidential information of a domestic and medical kind?
In some cases, yes, sir, but I must stress that everything that I read was treated with the strictest confidence.
Are you aware that the revelation that you have been given complete and free access to these private school files will cause an uproar amongst probation officers, social workers, doctors? Well, the police aren't allowed to see medical records at a hospital or a doctor's surgery, and yet it seems that you've gained access to such material through the back door, so to speak.
My concern was with the protection of life and property at the school, sir.
The ethics of providing the police with free access to the school files are not a matter for this court. However, the Education Authority, the social services and other interested bodies will now no doubt take note of this information and pursue the matter further if they so wish. Please confine yourself to questions that are directly relevant to the case in hand.
That is exactly what I intend to do, my lord. Now, was Mr. Tait included on your list of 75 suspects?
Yes, sir.
Why?
He had been involved in an incident at the school about 2 years ago, sir, in which a pile of rubbish was set on fire.
How do you know this?
There was a note in his file to that effect.
And who was this note written by?
I believe it was by a teacher, sir.
And what did the note say about this alleged incident?
I believe it said that Tait was with a group of pupils when a pile of rubbish caught fire. The teacher thought that Tait was probably responsible.
Probably responsible. It's just gossip, isn't it?
Well, it was in the file.
Well, were the police involved in this alleged incident 2 years ago?
No, sir.
So, a teacher sends in a report of an incident with his or her suspicions. This gets filed away without ever being tested or fairly examined. And 2 years later, a piece of scribbled gossip is used to blacken someone's good name.
Well, that's your interpretation, sir.
Well, if someone's accused behind their back and the information is placed in a secret file to which neither pupil nor parent has access, how can the truth and validity of such gossip be fairly and justly tested?
I warned you, Mr. Fox, but you wouldn't listen. It's no good complaining now if you don't like what you hear. I shall, of course, advise the jury in due course to pay no attention to gossip, but that will be in my own time and at the proper moment, Mr. Fox.
Thank you, my lord. Now, you've already told the court that Sam Tait's interrogation lasted a little under 3 hours.
Yes, sir.
Did he at any time ask to phone his mother?
I believe he may have done.
That's a very vague answer. Did he ask to phone his mother?
I believe he did.
I put it to you that soon after arriving at the police station, Mr. Tait asked to phone his mother.
He may have done, sir.
Oh, really? You're just hedging an embarrassing question, aren't you?
No, sir.
If the witness's memory needs jogging, he has already had permission to refer to his notes.
Thank you, my lord.
I put it to you that Mr. Tait asked repeatedly to phone his mother, and you told him he'd have to wait until later.
I don't remember saying anything of the sort, sir.
You wanted to put as much stress on the boy as possible, didn't you? You wanted to wear him down with worry.
I wanted to get at the truth, sir.
I see. Did you offer him anything to eat or drink during the course of your interrogation?
I think we may have given him a cup of tea, sir.
You think you may have given him a cup of tea? You're being deliberately vague. It's a simple question. Did you offer him anything to eat?
No, sir.
Thank you. I'm glad you're sure of something. Did you eat anything in the boy's presence?
I may have eaten a biscuit. I can't remember, sir.
Mr. Tait have a biscuit as well?
I suppose he may have done, sir.
But you've just told us he wasn't offered anything to eat.
I thought you were referring to something substantial, sir.
Like what?
Or like something substantial to eat, sir. A meal.
Do you normally offer suspects under interrogation a meal?
If the suspect is at the station for long enough, yes, sir.
And where does the food come from?
We send out.
Where to?
We get sandwiches or pies from a shop down the road, sir.
Did you, at any time during your interrogation of Sam Tait, eat a meat pie?
No, sir.
Did Constable Fellows, who was with you, eat a meat pie?
No, sir.
Did you or Constable Fellows send out for or cause to be sent out for any food whatsoever during the interrogation of Sam Tait?
No, sir.
Well, I think this is a very good moment to adjourn for luncheon.
I call the defendant, Samuel Tait.
Take the testament in your right hand and read aloud the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Samuel Tait, and you live at 72 Pinkerton Buildings, Fairfield, Fulchester.
That's right, sir.
And you're a student in the lower 6th form at Fulchester Comprehensive School.
Yeah.
May the witness be shown Exhibit 2, my lord. Now then, Mr. Tait, did you sign this statement saying that you'd set fire to the school?
Yeah.
And did you set fire to the school?
No, sir.
So why did you sign the statement?
They made me.
Who made you?
The police.
How? How did they make you?
They got me confused. I was worried about my mother.
All right. Now let's go back to the start. What happened when you were taken from school to the police station?
They took me away in a police car after Mr. Stevens had finished making a fool of me in front of my friends. And I did say to one of the policemen, "Can I phone me mum?" And he said, "Later." Anyway, they took me into this small office. There were desks and shelves, and they told me to sit in this chair. Then the one who asked most of the questions, he sat opposite me, and the other one sat to one side. So I knew there were two pairs of eyes on me the whole time, but I could only see one at a time myself.
Can you see either of these policemen in court today?
One of them.
Would you point him out?
He's the one who was in charge. He asked most of the questions.
Would the court note that the witness has identified Detective Sergeant Stafford? Now, what sort of things did the officer ask you?
He was nice at first. "We know you did it. Oh, well, we caught you this time, son." That sort of thing. As though it was a game. I said I haven't done anything, and I kept on saying it. And then he got nasty and started saying bad things about me. What was I doing stopping on at school anyway? Wasn't doing any exams and that. Why wasn't I trying to get a proper job? He said I was a skiver.
A what?
He said I was skiving, being lazy and that. I told him about me woodwork, but he took no notice. And he just went on and on at me, and I knew my mum would be worried about where I was, and he wouldn't let me contact her.
All right, all right. Now, look, just answer each question simply and briefly.
So, you signed this statement because you were worried about your mother?
Yeah. And I was hungry. They made me hungry.
How did they make you hungry?
We'd been there for hours. I told them that my mum would have my tea ready at home and she'd be worried. And then they got cups of tea and said I could have mine later. And they got meat pies and started eating them. And they smelt lovely. They said I could have mine if I signed. They said I could phone my mum and tell her I was all right if I signed. So I signed. Really stupid thing to do.
Yes, it was. Never mind. Now, what did you do when Mr. Longman and the rest of your class went into the gym for their PE lesson?
Well, I forgot my kit, so I couldn't join in. I went back to my house cloakroom and went into the toilets.
And which is your house?
Canute.
Canute House?
Yeah.
So you went straight to Canute House cloakroom at 8 minutes past 2 o'clock?
I'm not exactly sure of the time.
Oh, never mind. What did you do there?
I went into one of the toilets and I struck up.
Struck up?
I had a smoke, sir.
A cigarette?
Yes, sir.
So you were in one of the toilets smoking?
Yeah.
Have the door locked?
Yeah.
Anyone else know you were there?
Only one person.
Who was that?
Thomas.
Tom?
Mickey Thompson.
So, you say you were smoking in the toilet when the fire alarm sounded?
Yeah.
How do you light your cigarette?
With matches.
With matches? So you carry matches with you around at school, do you?
Yeah.
How many years have you been smoking for?
Since I was about 9 years old.
And have you always carried matches around with you since you were 9 years old?
A lot of the time. But not all the time.
Do you normally carry matches with you around at school?
Yeah.
You ever been caught smoking?
A few times.
What happens to you when you're caught?
Depends on the teacher.
No, what sort of things happen to you?
Sometimes they take your cigarettes and matches away. Sometimes they give you the gym shoe. Sometimes they send you to Mr. Stevens.
Yes, what happens when you're sent to Mr. Stevens?
He gives you the cane.
How many times have you been caned by Mr. Stevens?
Oh, really, my lord?
Well, what's the matter now, Mr. Fox? You yourself asked Mr. Stevens how many times he'd caned the defendant. You raised the matter in the first place. Carry on, Mr. Hurst.
Thank you, my lord. So, how many times have you been caned by Mr. Stevens?
Quite a few times.
I thought you'd remembered being caned better than that. It's not something one forgets, as I recall. How many times?
6 times.
In how many years?
4 years.
6 times in 4 years. What a mischievous pupil you must be.
Other lads have had it worse than me.
How much worse?
Quite a few lads get it 2 or 3 times a term, sir.
I see.
What sort of things have you been beaten for?
Being late for school, smoking, fighting.
Didn't you once get caned for setting fire to a pile of rubbish?
Yeah.
I see.
But I never set fire to it. It was one of the teachers who got me into trouble. I had matches on me, but I never set fire to it.
Do you like Mr. Stevens?
I hate him.
Hate him? Why do you hate him?
He's a right bastard.
We'll have no foul language in this court.
Sorry, sir.
Would you like to get your own back on Mr. Stevens for all these canings?
I used to want to. But the way I feel now, I don't reckon he's worth a bother.
But you used to want to. Setting fire to the school would be marvellous revenge, wouldn't it?
No.
Well, you had the matches in your pocket, strictly against school rules. How easy it would be, in a moment of bad temper, to strike a match and drop it into a basket of paper towels. Wouldn't take a second. You could run away and watch the fun.
I've never done anything like that in my life.
I suggest that you were in a very bad temper when you weren't allowed to join in with the other boys in the gymnasium.
That's a laugh. Why do you think I forgot my kit? I hate PE. It's woodwork I'm good at.
You hate physical education, you hate Mr. Stevens. You hate quite a lot of things, don't you? Now, you tell me this. Why on earth did you decide to stay on at school?
I could have left, but there wasn't a job for me.
What about the government schemes?
I talked things over with my woodwork teacher. He said that if I stayed on another year, he'd teach me all he knew about woodwork, joinery and that. I reckon that was my best chance. I'd end up being really good at something. Not just quite good like the other lads, but excellent. That way, I'd stand a better chance of getting a job at the end of the year. And Mr. Headley's a very good teacher. He's fair. He respects you no matter who you are.
But he had other classes to take. He couldn't teach you all the time.
I used to help him in the workshop. There's always tidying up to do. And the other kids were really impressed by the things I was making. They reckoned if I could do it, maybe they could as well. I'd never been happier at school. And then all this happens. It's broken me up, sir.
This is your signature at the bottom of the statement.
Yeah.
And you did read the statement before you signed it.
They read it to me and then I signed it.
Did you understand what the statement said?
Yes, sir.
It's confession of guilt, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
I have no further questions, my lord.
The case of the Queen and Tait will be concluded tomorrow in the Crown Court. The case you're about to see is fictional. The procedure, however, is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public. In the case of the Queen and Tait, Samuel Tait is charged with setting fire to Fulchester Comprehensive School. The defence has called Mr. Headley, a woodwork teacher, to the witness box.
And you're the woodwork teacher at Fulchester Comprehensive School?
Yes, sir.
Sam Tait, a good woodwork student?
He's an outstandingly good student.
Did you persuade him to stay on at school?
I certainly influenced his decision.
Oh, how did you do that?
Well, at the end of the summer term, we sat down and had a good talk about things. We considered all his options. If he left school, the best he could hope for was to be placed on one of the government schemes. His chances of getting a job outright were practically nil. If he stayed on at school, I told him that I could arrange a special course for him and teach him all I could.
And did your offer go down well with the school authorities?
No, it didn't. Woodwork has always been one of these Cinderella subjects on the curriculum, but I believe it's just as important to produce fine young craftsmen and craftswomen as it is to produce excellent mathematicians.
Indeed. But you got your way with the school authorities in the end?
Oh, they had an obligation to accept Tait back at school if he chose to return, unless, of course, they could find some reason for excluding him.
Now, did they try to find some reason for excluding him?
Yes.
You're quite sure of that?
Quite sure. The matter was raised at a meeting of heads of departments.
In what way was it raised?
A number of teachers felt that he shouldn't be permitted to return.
Why?
Well, in their eyes, he wasn't a good enough student, not academic enough. Some of the heads of department remember the old grammar school days. They've never liked having to work under a comprehensive regime, so they've guarded the sixth form as their special preserve.
The sixth form at Fulchester has produced many outstanding students, I believe.
Yes, my lord.
Many of your pupils have gone on to the universities.
That's true, my lord.
It's quite understandable that senior staff should want to preserve excellence where it clearly exists.
Oh, of course, but a school must cater for more than the minority of academically advanced students, my lord. Basically,
yes,
if
well,
you have...
we won't debate that now. Carry on, Mr. Fox.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Mr. Headley, was the defendant mentioned specifically at this meeting of heads of
Oh, my
department?
lord, that sounds like gossip to me.
My lord, I merely wish to establish whether the witness has had to defend Sam Tait's position at the school.
I suggest you ask him that question if that's what you want to find out.
Mr. Headley, was it necessary to defend Sam Tait's decision to return to the school?
Yes, I did have to do that.
Why? Why was it necessary?
Because some of the senior staff wanted him excluded.
But why should they want him excluded?
Because his academic standard was thought to be too low for the sixth form work.
Not because of any misdemeanour?
Nothing like that was specifically mentioned.
Thank you. So, you saw Sam every day?
Yes, he was able to work in the workshop whilst I was taking other classes. He was very useful, as a matter of fact.
Was he happy?
Yes, he was very happy.
Did Sam Tait ever give you even the slightest indication that he was capable of a serious offence such as setting fire to the school?
None whatsoever.
Thank you, Mr. Headley.
Mr. Headley, when you encouraged Tait to stay on at school, what sort of reaction did you get from fellow members of staff?
Well, in a school as big as ours, staff are primarily concerned with their own problems. I should think half of them were quite unaware of what was happening anyway.
But if staff encouraged pupils to stay on at school as unpaid helpers in their classes, one might even say pets, that might prove to be administratively undesirable and indeed professionally questionable.
I resent your use of the word pets.
Just try to answer the question, Mr. Headley.
Well, there's clearly a difference between a teacher who spends his working day in the same workshop as I do and a teacher who has to travel round from classroom to classroom. In my case, it poses no administrative problem to have 1 or 2 students with me most of the time, regardless of which class I'm taking.
But did the fact that Tait was encouraged to stay on at school cause friction with the staff?
Not with staff in general, only some of the senior staff, and Mr. Stevens, of course.
Oh, you mean those with substantial authority in the school?
I mean exactly what I said. Some of the senior staff and Mr. Stevens
but they
objected
are
to Tait
in
returning to the
authority
school.
in the school, are they not?
Yes, and so am I.
Yes, Mr. Headley, we know you're the woodwork teacher.
I am also a head of department and have the same authority within the school structure as do other heads of departments.
But you were in conflict with your colleagues in this matter, were you not?
I was in conflict with some, but not all of them.
I put it to you that you were undermining the authority of those in charge of running the school.
I don't agree.
Would you like to see the school run differently?
Yes, I would.
How differently?
Very differently.
Mr. Hurst, I don't want to listen to a debate about education. Please come to the point.
I put it to you that you were using Tait to challenge the authority of those entrusted with the good management of the school.
That's absolute rot.
Mrs. Tait, were you very worried when Sam failed to return from school?
Of course, very worried. I phoned the school, you know, but they told me there was an emergency on, couldn't help me. So I phoned the hospital to see if he'd been run over. I even went round to his friends to see if he'd stopped off there.
Was Sam ever late for his tea?
Well, if he was ever going to be late, he used to phone me up to tell me. I had that phone, I had it put in special. There's only me and Sammy at home now, you see. And he's a very good boy. And I'm proud of him. And I'm telling all of you, he never done this crime. And what I want to know is, why wouldn't them police let him phone me up and tell me what was happening?
Yes, that's something we'd all like to know, Mrs. Tait. Now, could you tell us, please, what sort of relationship have you had with the school over the years?
Well, I've had to go up there and bang on a few doors.
What do you mean?
I believe in sticking up for your own, and when things haven't seemed right or fair, I've gone up there and stuck up for our Sammy. That Stevens has had it in for him ever since he went there. That Stevens is a proper swine, if you'll pardon the expression, my lord.
Don't get too carried away, Mrs. Tait.
Do you attend parents' evenings at the school?
Oh, yes, I always go. I want to know who's teaching our Sammy and what they think of him. And I sometimes tell them what I think of them and all. There's some of them up there, they're shaking their shoes at the sight of me, I can tell you. And that includes that Stevens.
Mrs. Tait, when your son was a boy, did he ever play with matches?
No, never.
Oh, come on, Mrs. Tait. Most children play with matches sometime or another.
Well, I've never seen him.
Did he enjoy bonfires in the garden?
What are you on about? Where do you think we live? Buckingham Palace. I've spent my life 3 floors up. My God, I wish we'd had a garden to have a bonfire in.
Yes. Mrs. Tait, are you good at looking after yourself?
Of course I am. I've got to be, haven't I?
And does your son know that you're quite capable of looking after yourself for a few hours?
Of course he knows it.
There's no reason to suppose, then, is he, if he arrived late one evening, that you'd be unduly worried?
We've got a way of doing things in our family. If he's going to be late, he phones us up and tells us. I cook his tea. He's not the sort of lad that lets his tea get cold without telling his mam. I knew there was something wrong the day they took him in.
Oh, come on, Mrs. Tait. If you'd known straight away that he was up at the police station, you'd have been up there like a shot.
Well, of course I would. Wouldn't any mother do the same? But you listen here. When our Sammy never came home and the school couldn't help, I went up to that police station to see if they knew anything. And the man behind the desk said he couldn't help me. And he was there all the time.
Mrs. Tait, are you sure you're telling the truth?
Our Sammy, he was there all the time. And them buggers, they knew it.
That's quite enough foul language.
I'm sorry, my lord.
Now, let's get this clear. You're saying that the police told you that they didn't know where your son was.
The policeman at the desk, he said he didn't know where Sam was.
I shall instruct the police to check the records to confirm the truth of what you're telling the court. I warn you that telling a lie under oath is a very serious offence.
I'm telling your lordship the truth.
The final defence witness is the defendant's friend, Michael Thompson.
And which year are you in at school, Mr. Thompson?
Fourth year, sir.
You studying for any examinations?
Yes, sir.
How many?
I'm doing 7 CSEs.
CSEs?
What does CSE stand for?
Can't remember, sir.
My lord, doesn't it stand for Certificate of Secondary Education?
Correct.
I'm much obliged to my exceptionally learned friend. Now, Mr. Thompson, what were you doing on the afternoon of the fire between 2 o'clock and the sounding of the fire alarm at 2:15?
Right. Well, after afternoon registration, I went to art. That's in the art room. Mr. Mitchinson, the teacher, sent me to the central stores to get drawing pins. Now, luckily, I caught Mrs. Riddle at the central stores, and I got the pins quicker than expected. So I decided to take a few more minutes off class, and I went to the toilets of Canute House.
And what did you do there?
I went into one of the toilets and locked myself in.
And was this for any other reason than personal hygiene?
I went in for a smoke, sir.
Yes. And when you went in for a smoke, were you aware that any of the other cubicles were occupied?
Well, when I went in, they were all empty. But seconds after I got sat down and lit up, someone else came in. And I could hear them going into one of the toilets and locking the door.
And was the arrival of someone else the cause for some concern?
If it was a teacher, it might have been. But teachers don't use the toilets. All lock themselves in. So when I heard the bolt on the toilet door, I knew it wasn't a teacher.
What happened then?
There was a flood, sir.
A flood? What sort of flood?
Well, sir, you know the place where the boys stand up and winkle?
Stand up and winkle?
Well, what's the polite word?
I think the word you want is urinal.
Thank you, my lord. The place where the boys stand up and urinal.
Carry on.
Well, it got blocked up. And when the flusher started to work and all the water was washing down it, instead of all the water going down the plug hole, it started flooding across the floor. So there I was, sitting in my toilet, and the water started coming at me under the door. And then I heard this voice from 2 toilets along saying, "Go back, I command you, go back." And I says, "Who the hell do you think you are, King Canute?" And he says, "Is that you, Tommy?" And I says, "Yeah." And it was Sam Tait, he's a mate of mine. And we made a few jokes, and then the fire alarm went off. And he says, "What a place this is. If they can't drown you, they burn you to death."
So Sam Tait was in the toilet of Canute House until the time the fire alarm went off?
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
How long have you known the defendant?
Who, Sam Tait?
Yes.
Years and years.
You live near each other?
Not far off.
How near?
Round the corner, along the street a bit.
You see a lot of each other?
Quite a lot, yeah.
Is he your best friend?
He's one of my mates.
You been in any tight scrapes together?
Oh, my lord, I hope my learned friend is not inviting the witness to incriminate himself.
Yes, I think Mr. Hurst should make it clear that he doesn't mean scrapes of a criminal nature.
Oh, of course I didn't intend that, my lord. Let me rephrase the question. Have you had any adventures together?
I know what you're driving at, and I can tell you that we're not villains, either of us.
No, that's your interpretation of my question. Now, you've told the court that you were smoking in the toilets of Canute House at the time when the fire alarm sounded.
Yes.
How do you light your cigarettes?
Well, at school, I had my own lighter. But it ain't worth carrying a lighter around in school in case you get caught and have it taken off you. So I always carry matches instead.
You always carry matches with you around in school?
Yeah, well, you've got to if you smoke, haven't you?
That is, of course, strictly against the school rules.
Yeah.
And you have no hesitation in breaking the rules if you choose?
I don't break many rules. I'm good, mate. But I do smoke. I wish I didn't. It costs a fortune. But I do, and that's all there is to say about it.
But smoking at school requires deceit and cunning.
Come on, sir. It's not the end of the world.
Have you been in trouble with Mr. Stevens?
Everybody has from time to time.
Have you been in a lot of trouble with Mr. Stevens?
No worse than anyone else.
What sort of things has he caned you for?
Smoking, missing school a couple of times. Being late for morning assembly, nothing very much.
Nothing very much? That sounds like the beginnings of a substantial list of misconducts to me.
I bet if you was a boy at our school, you get into trouble from time to time.
Just answer the questions.
So, you've seen Tait quite often since his present troubles began?
Quite often, yeah.
So you've had plenty of time to concoct a story and get him off the hook?
I'm just telling the truth, sir.
Now, I put it to you that you've invented this childish alibi as a good turn for a friend.
No, sir.
Well, you're used to deceiving the school authorities, aren't you? Taking days off school, breaking the school rules when you so choose. You're used to deception, aren't you, Thompson?
Me, sir? No, sir.
Would you consider it right to tell a fib to protect a friend?
Well, Lord, this is just a hypothetical question.
I think it's worth asking. Carry on.
My lord. Well, would you tell a white lie to help a friend?
Just depends on circumstances.
So you might tell a lie?
It just depends.
Have you heard the expression schoolboy honour?
No, sir.
Well, let me tell you what it means. It means that a boy is perfectly justified in telling a lie to protect another boy from the school authorities. Do you believe in the principle of schoolboy honour?
Well, I think it'll depend on the seriousness of the situation.
Is setting fire to the school a serious offence?
Yes, sir.
And if you knew who'd done such a thing, would you tell the school authorities who the offender was?
I'm not sure about that.
Well, it's a very serious offence, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And yet you say you might conceal the culprit?
I don't know.
Conversely, if the culprit was a friend of yours, you might take the witness box to provide a carefully prepared alibi to
I'm
protect...
telling the truth.
I want to make something quite clear to you.
Yes, sir, my lord.
To tell a lie under oath in a court of law is a very serious offence. If you're found to be lying for whatever reason, you're likely to be punished.
I'm not telling lies.
What happened when you heard the fire alarm go off?
We left the toilet, someone outside.
You leave immediately?
Well, we had to pull his trousers back up and put his fags out. Then we went out to the corridor and outside.
And you were with Tait at this time?
Yes, sir.
Corridor's crowded?
Yes, sir. Everyone was doing the same thing, sir. Getting out the school as fast as possible.
So there was no delay between the time the fire alarm sounded and you and Tait leaving the school buildings?
No, sir.
You go straight to the assembly point?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Then how do you explain the fact that Tait turned up late at his assembly point?
Did he turn up late?
Yes, Mr. Thompson, he did. Mr. Stevens has told us so, and so has Detective Sergeant Stafford.
No, my lord, Detective Sergeant Stafford has not, in fact, told the court that.
It was clearly established near the beginning of this case that the defendant had indeed turned up late at the assembly point. I don't remember anyone challenging that. Carry on, Mr. Hurst.
Thank you, my lord. Now then, Thompson, would you like to explain why your evidence contradicts evidence we have already heard, even from the defendant himself?
My lord, it isn't true that the witness's evidence contradicts any evidence heard in the case so far. My learned friend is simply trying to confuse the witness.
Mr. Fox, please don't interrupt me when I'm about to speak.
I am sorry, my lord.
The witness should try to answer the question.
What was the question?
We have heard that Tait was late turning up at the assembly point. You say you were both on time. How do you explain this?
Well, I'm in the fourth year, sir. My class meets on one part of the playground. Sam's more than a year ahead of me, sir. His group had to meet in a different place, sir. He may have been late getting there. I remember they were all in games clothes. All his mates were. They'd run over from the gym class, sir. They were all in shorts. They ran over, that's why Sammy seemed to be late. And he stood out in his ordinary clothes and all the others were jumping up and down in the shorts and vests. That's why they picked him out, because he was different.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think it should be clear to everyone by now that Tait is indeed guilty. I suggest that the defendant set fire to his school, endangering the lives of staff and pupils in a heartless and indiscriminate manner. Now, you've heard how he admitted his guilt to the police on the day of the fire. You've all read his signed statement. Surely there can be no doubt in your mind that he knew quite well what he was signing. He's not stupid. He has shown himself in court to be an alert and intelligent person. Surely it's reasonable to suppose that he knew perfectly well the serious implications of his signed confession of guilt. But I also suggest to you that during the trial he has shown himself to be an accomplished and artful liar. I trust that none of you will be deceived by his blatant denials of guilt. I know he's young, but please don't let his youthfulness influence your decision in his favor. As for the evidence of young Thompson, well, In what sort of thieves' kitchen was that little deception cooked up? Thompson actually said, under oath, that although setting fire to the school was a serious offence, he might still conceal the culprit well. That lets the cat out of the bag. I suggest that telling lies to protect his friend is exactly what he has been doing in this court. I put it to you that what really happened was that Tait left the changing room at the gymnasium at about 2 minutes past. He then went to Alfred House, started the fire. He then hid in Canute House toilets.
And any fair-minded person cannot but be disturbed by the events leading up to Sam Tait being driven off to the police station. He's the boy Mr. Stevens doesn't want at school. He's the boy who's been singled out to be made an example of in front of the entire school. And he's the victim of an inaccurate piece of gossip taken from a supposedly private school file.
Don't go on about that, Mr. Fox. I advised you at the time not to bring that out.
My lord, the way those files have been opened up to the police is a matter of major professional and public concern.
Get on with it, Mr. Fox.
Now, when Sam Tait was taken away, why wasn't he allowed to phone his mother straight away? I suggest to you that the police were trying to put him under as much stress as possible to confuse him and to undermine his confidence. It's no fun being interrogated by two highly experienced and professional interrogators. Even strong men and women crack up under that sort of strain. And how would you have coped if that had been you? Yes, he did sign the statement. Yes, he was very silly. He's told you so himself. But that statement does not contain the truth. The truth, as you've heard, is that Sam Tait left the changing room by the gymnasium at 8 minutes past 2, and he went straight to Canute House toilets for a smoke. When the alarm sounded 5 minutes later, he and young Michael Thompson made their way, quite correctly, to their assigned assembly points in the playground. And then, as you've heard, Sam Tait's nightmare began.
There are two distinct areas for your consideration. Firstly, there is the statement signed by Tait. Now, that is a very damning piece of evidence against the defendant. The defense has tried to discredit that statement, but I'm bound to tell you that Tait's confession still stands as substantial evidence against him. The police officers concerned did their jobs properly, according to the evidence we have heard. The fact that Mrs. Tait was not informed of the whereabouts of her son until 7 o'clock in the evening is unfortunate. And it's emerged that Mrs. Tait did indeed go to the police station, where she was informed in error by an officer who'd just come on duty that the whereabouts of her son was not known. But those circumstances do not of themselves undermine the validity of Tait's statement as evidence. Do you really think it likely that a young man would incriminate himself for a meat pie? And the police officers concerned have given evidence consistently and strenuously that no meat pies were involved at any time. Now, if that is the case, Tait has been lying to you in this court. So, if you accept the defendant's written statement as a truthful account of what happened, I suggest you will have no option but to find him guilty as charged. However, there is a second area for your consideration, that of alibi. In all likelihood, the fire was not alight until after 2 o'clock. Now, you need not doubt where the defendant was until 7 or 8 minutes past 2. You need not doubt that he was indeed in the changing rooms with Mr. Longman and the other boys from 2 o'clock until 7 or 8 minutes past 2. Did he then run to Alfred House, set fire to a pile of paper towels and anoraks, and then run to Canute House and lock himself in the lavatories for a nerve-settling cigarette? He might then still have had time for his conversation with the witness, Michael Thompson. You may decide that the close relationship between Tait and Thompson itself undermines the validity of Thompson's evidence. If there is reasonable doubt in your mind, and I stress reasonable doubt, then you should find the defendant not guilty. On the other hand, if you accept the defendant's statement as a truthful account of what happened, signed on the very day of the offence, then you may feel you have no alternative but to find him guilty whether you want to or not. Will you please retire, elect a foreman to speak for you, and consider your verdict?
Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Will you answer this question, yes or no? Have you all reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Next week, you can join another jury when our cameras return to bring you a further case in the Crown Court.